Oh, my.
I got excited. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, you want to do the intro? You can do the intro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright. Justice for all. With Chaos Scout Celine. I think the sugar's starting to kick in.
Hey!
Hey! Holy shit, it is.
Ow, that hurt.
He said ow the same time Phoenix did!
I was reading the line.
Oh!
I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene.
I answered that.
That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Yes, it does.
You shush, Your Honor. You are on drugs and you need to get with Mr. Dick Gumshoe. Ouch, Your Honor.
No need to be like that.
On karma, I may have accidentally given him the drugs.
Son
Au
of a
contraire,
bitch.
mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question.
Okay, what did he say exactly right there?
Contraire, mon frère.
I know contraire, but mon frère?
That's a
Yeah, my
terminology
brother.
for... Really? It's
Yeah,
for
that's
brother?
literally means my brother in French.
Oh, I thought
Yeah, that's
that...
why I was looking at you, because I know you know French. And so I was just like,
So I,
mon
for some
frère?
reason, thought that was a term you called a woman a lady or something.
Well, it's mon, which is masculine. Or was it ma?
No, it was mon.
Mon? Yeah, that's masculine.
Yeah.
Ouch. He's an asshole. Either that or he doesn't know French.
Ah.
Oh, no, man. Anyway, dots. A dot.
Most said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
It was Arnold Schwarzenegger!
Shit. Oh, wow!
How is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
Max the woman.
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? One, you called me a man and I'm insulted. The silhouette he saw just happened to be wearing a cloak as well.
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. Or a cloak like that could easily get snagged on the bust if they came into contact.
Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust?
It doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright.
I like yelling too! I do too!
Who put the cloak on the we're doing this. Bust. The question is of the utmost importance to this case. Don't you agree?
He caught me.
How did he catch you?
So let me have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on that bust?
It was Leon.
He came back as a ghost and was like, bitch, I do this. Like, you can't
I'm
make
ghost of lion. Wait, what?
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 What? What? What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What? Are you what? Say it?
What? What?
Wait, what?
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 Fool him? I'm just...
You say that it was the victim himself? Russell Perry?
That's what I'm saying.
Jeez, the judge turned into evil for a second.
I mean, the victim himself placed the cloak on the bust.
Well, I mean, if he was going to die...
Place
he
the
had to-
cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the... then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright?
Explain yourself.
Before you break your hand.
I'm trying to find the right distance.
I know,
feel like
I
it's
am
so
too.
far, and I'm like, can you just...
I know, I'm trying to find it too, no worries. We are still learning, audience.
I'm trying to find the friendship zone.
Yep.
Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this?
I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together.
I've seen your player doesn't agree, Nick.
There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright.
Watercolors!
So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time.
I am Marty McFly.
Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene.
Dun dun dun.
Then he attached that rope to the bust.
Wah.
And dangled the bust out of his bedroom window, directly above the wooden box.
Come here, kitty. Come get it, kitty.
At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. That's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bust hit the victim, Ooh.
He even draped him so gracefully. It was like farewell, Russ. You wait just a second there, Mr. Fish, right? As much as you try. I'm turning southern. As much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be.
It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Carlo.
I'll get upset when I damn well please.
The circus isn't over yet.
Nanny.
Nani. Nani.
Nanny.
With a shock of impact, it threw up the cloak and it got snagged onto the bust. That's when the sound was heard by a witness and he took a look out of his window. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged into the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with a cloak dangling on it. Primarily because, in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up.
Fucking magic, ladies and gentlemen. It's all a lie.
And that is how the magical murderer disappeared into the sky came to be.
Fuck you.
Now you know how the murder actually took place.
Is this guy on drugs?
And
Am
now
I
you
on
know
drugs?
who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the scene. Acro, it could only have been you.
Burp. I'm a burp. Hey, burp.
For a dream is a wish.
Acro's
the
been
begs.
playing mind games with all of us.
He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now.
I don't know if he has. So?
What now?
You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence?
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip.
I'll make you shove it right up your ass.
That'd be very
Kinky.
difficult.
And that too.
That as well, I guess.
Yeah.
You're bringing this upon yourself. You're digging your grave.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well.
I will
I'm gonna
include
get
that.
for this.
Yep.
Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Her whip hurts like hell. But also, do you have any evidence?
Nick, you say they want evidence.
What? I think
Just explain how there can only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account.
Unusual?
Contradiction, actually.
Okay then, use that and get out of this jam.
But I like jam.
Jam is good.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Mr. Wright, proceed. Present some evidence that you pulled right out of your ass to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to the magical case.
Good job.
The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses.
Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings.
Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Moe's testimony.
The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other.
But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions.
You fool, do you ever shut up?
Deal.
Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime.
I mean, no, but you could
However,
be a bit
remember what
nicer
Moe
about
said
it.
yesterday? He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Moe saw was actually the bust.
Whoa!
Makes sense if you look at it that way. Then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction?
Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match.
Actually, it kind of does.
The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick?
Can you feel
Of course,
it, Mr.
I'd explain
Krabs?
all of it.
Can you feel it, Mr. Nick? Where are you, Pearl? What was that?
Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged into the bust. If the cloak snagged into the bust, what happened to the white roses?
Ow, son of a bitch. Be the worst way to go, but at the same time it's instantaneous, so... Usually.
Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged into the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Which explains why Mo didn't see it. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust.
Damn you.
Oh,
I have been foiled.
foiled again!
I will see you in hell,
Order!
Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Order! Order!
Order in this court.
Boop, boop, boop.
How come we never wrote a judge song?
Huh.
That's quite a shocking.
No,
state
you're.
of
Gosh, that was
affairs.
not a cue. There was no song. You have no song cue. You shush.
I'm waiting!
It was hard to tell what you said when you were singing.
Yeah.
Mr. Phoenix Wright theory still sounds a bit absurd, as usual. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Oh look, a Burger King!
The scenery is quite nice.
I want that Burger King.
Give it to me now, Nick.
That time it was intentional.
Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel.
Oh look, Red Robin.
Nick, we need to turn off this road right now, Nick. We need those burgers, Nick.
Oh look, the Manti farmhouse.
Give me my fucking burgers, Nick. Well, so much for that theory.
Mr. Wright, do you mind?
Yes.
What is it?
Sorry, I had a little burp. You took the time to research our circus, didn't you?
How
Well,
did he know?
yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't?
If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track.
Why is that?
Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. I win. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. Typist, prepare his autobiography. He will be grateful.
Type one thing and you're dead.
Oh no, Melinda!
Maya?
What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster.
Acro's motive. I wonder what it is.
It seems that this case just isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel it's a good place to take a break.
Yay,
That's
pee
it.
break!
That's the entire game.
Yeah, that's it.
Nope. They never continued after this. We forgot to buy the DLC. Son
Yep.
of a bitch.
Yep. You know.
Alright, everyone. Meet in the foyer for pizza and pie.
Okay.
Hells yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean pizza pie, I mean literal pizza and pie.
No, I'm cool.
No,
with
yeah,
this.
yeah, exactly.
No, we're good.
Exactly. We're
This court will now take a 10-minute recess. Please divide up for dodgeball.
that
I will kick your ass, Mr. Detective Dick Gumshoe.
I'm sorry.
Prepare yourself.
And
She like grabs the dodge, like a whip around the dodgeball and like fuck it.
and it becomes a freaking
flail base.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, son of a bitch. So we're at like 14 minutes. Do you think this would be
Yeah, this is a good place to stop since it's a to be continued.
All right. So
This gives me the chance to go take a piss.
we'll see you guys next time.
Next time.
Epic parkour. Oh gosh. Parkour.